We are live, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, so we'll give everyone just a minute to get in here. Dang, like I look incredibly ugly. I'm gonna turn off your camera. Like this isn't fair.
No, Jeremy, dude, I mean, if you had as much makeup on that I do right now, you'd probably look the same, okay?
Well, I will say I don't think I've ever seen you like unmade up, but I mean, I think you pretty much are always keeping it. I don't know if you walk around without makeup on very often.
I do occasionally. You can catch me on Slightly Offensive sometimes on an off day with no makeup on, but then I'll usually put the baseball cap on to like offset it, and then my face
Oh,
doesn't look as bad, you know?
yeah, the baseball cap. Okay.
That's my normal outfit though. Like I just got done with the photo shoot. I got some headshots done for the website that I'm making right now, and so
And oh, by the way, we apply the same rule here as Slightly Offensive. No simping in chat.
no simping. Keep
Yeah,
that at home. We don't want it here. Get it out
yeah.
of here.
I mean, you could simp for me. That's
Who wouldn't simp for you, Jeremy?
who. I mean, a blind person maybe. So I just tweeted it out, and I wanted to give everyone just a second to get in. But to tell everyone who you are. Well, we've met in Kenosha, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, we did actually.
Yeah, in Kenosha. Not during the
The rioting.
not during the fiery but mostly peaceful stuff,
Right.
but a few weeks ago. And then you produce currently on a show on the Blaze called Slightly Offensive with Elijah Schaefer.
With Elijah Schaefer, yeah.
Yeah, and I was on that down in Fort Worth last week. Last week.
It was just last week, and I did want to side note on the show that you shot with us. I think that was one of the funniest intros that we've ever done.
Oh.
So if you guys haven't gone and seen it, like, dude, it was hilarious. Go to the Slightly Offensive channel. Go check out Jeremy's interview because most hilarious intro we've ever done.
It was pretty solid. Like I kept an eye on.
It was so good.
So from what I know of you now, so I've edified myself on your main channel now, and maybe let people know a little bit about your history, and then what you're up to these days.
All right, cool. So basically, I started off working for Alex Jones, and I started off as a production assistant. And when I started working for him, the first time I shook his hand, I had no idea who he was. I was fresh out of college. I was living at home with my parents. He offered me a production assistant job, and I was like, I'm in no position to say no, so let's do it. Let's go. Started off as a production assistant, worked on Alex's show for a year, and pretty much learned politics and what was going on in society from him by working on his show every day. Then became lead producer of The War Room with Owen Schroyer, the afternoon show, and then started doing reporting and on the street stuff, fill-in radio hosting. And then I now work with Elijah Schaefer producing his show. And Elijah and I met because last year I did a lot of riot reporting. Alex sent me to Hong Kong in 2018, and reporting on the pro-democracy protests over there was so interesting. And it really just opened up my eyes to the stark differences between how other countries view America versus how we view America, and how, those protesters were waving American flags and we were burning them. So I started doing riot reporting last year, blew up on Twitter. Donald Trump retweeted me a couple of times. I had all the big names following me. I was right at the cusp of my career, and then I got banned off of Twitter for that Donald Trump retweet and because of my riot footage. And so now I'm producing with Elijah, and I make cameos every show.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not very inclusive of Twitter to ban a brown woman, but they did because you were sharing inconvenient truths. And I don't know if you saw the Intercept today.
The Riot Squad, dude, and oh my gosh, me and Elijah and the Riot Squad have all been talking about that video all day, and it's absolutely hilarious just to see how they try to paint it as, I can't believe these conservative reporters went and reported on the violence.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious that it was like, you realize you're making them look cool, cool. Like it was a spectacular backfire. So anyway, thankfully there's a few times where like one of these like far left outlets will put something out and they'll just get dunked on. I'm like, okay, so there is like some hope. And that's basically what happened to them. Like their entire replies, basically everybody was ratioing them. Yeah. I saw Andy Ngo in there who, put his life on the line during that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's weird how, it's I talked about this last week in one of my videos, how so like Andy Ngo, obviously not a white dude, but they're fine calling him like a white supremacist or alt-right. Just like the same people would say listen and believe to somebody like Caitlyn Jenner, But then she says, well, actually, there's like, some biology behind biological males competing in women's sports. And they're like, oh, she's literally the devil.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's essentially why I don't listen to any mainstream reporting anymore, which is why I like to watch your show. By the way, if you're watching, I have a link to her channel in the description. You should definitely subscribe now that we'll kind of get into the interview here. And by the way, the highlights and stuff will be on my main channel on the quartering, as well as some additional memes. And I think Sav will probably take some stuff too. So tell me about working with Alex. Like, is that dude ever off?
Dude, what you see is really what you get. Alex is high octane, high energy all day, every day. The man works 7 days a week. I definitely learned my work ethic from both Alex and Owen because they never stop working. They're definitely, it's called InfoWars, and they're definitely in war mode all the time. They're fighting for our country. And so working for Alex was crazy because, like I said, when I was working for him, I didn't really know who I was working for in regards to how
Well, what year was this? Like 2015?
no, this was I worked for him from 2018 through 2020. So
he had already been deplatformed.
I actually worked for him for 6 months before he got deplatformed. So I actually worked for him as he was getting deplatformed, and we, like, the whole company kind of lived through that with him. And it was so crazy because I remember waking up and I was like, all right, getting ready for work. And I look at my phone and I had Apple News notifications at the time. And it was like, Alex Jones banned from YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Instagram. And I was like, oh boy, today's going to be a day. And it was the most insane week because, again, too, I don't think at that time Alex had band.video up like he does now. And it's basically like his own personal YouTube. He can go and he can upload all his videos there. He can watch his streams, his show. And so I watched as basically every single corporation and big tech company attacked Alex. And then, you had everyone coming in and slandering him, and then he wasn't able to defend himself. So it was a definitely chaotic time, and working for him was crazy, but great. And yeah, it was such an experience.
One of the most annoying things people do to me, and I hope you're listening, other YouTubers, and Sean, make sure you keep this part in the video. Why are you? Don't DM or ask your other YouTube friends to connect you with other YouTube people. It's like it's not cool. But Dank, like, I've done Count Dankula a few favors in my day, and like when I was in Texas, if I had not gotten sick, I was gonna pull the favor. I was gonna say, listen, give me Alex's number.
Dude, you should have asked me. I
No,
had
we're
Alex's number.
No, we were too new. I wasn't gonna do that. That's uncouth. Maybe next time I'm down there, I'll be like, come on, Sav. I sent you tens of subscribers. Make sure you give me
at least 5. I'm like, I got you, fam. I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah. So during this time, while you were with Alex, so were you doing the riot reporting while you're with? Because I saw some of your older videos and you had the InfoWars mic. So when you were going out, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so I used to go out the InfoWars mic and Alex, because I did want to report, and Alex sent me to the border, San Isidro in California, and I had the InfoWars mic, and I had grown men come up to me and scream at me and like attack me, and I almost started crying on camera because, this is one of my first couple of times reporting, and I have people screaming at me while I'm trying to do my job. And it's because I was holding the InfoWars mic. At that time I was still very like fresh out of journalism school. Like, I want to be neutral. This is the scene. This is what's happening. And I was getting attacked so much. So I had to rebrand and go with A7. So yeah, they created Action 7 for me as a way for me to go to rallies and protests and go talk to people and go report without getting viciously attacked.
When you said the Hong Kong thing, I just wanted to agree with your point. I was watching a lot of the Hong Kong events, and like, you make me feel like such a normie because I'm like, I watched some Twitter videos on it, and you're like, yeah, I was there. But like, watching people in Hong Kong like sing the national anthem and like
beautiful moments.
Yeah, I was like, and then you think about all the people that hate this country here. I'm like, God,
dude, that's what I was just talking to, the people who were photographing me. They're big conservatives. They were awesome. And I was telling them about Hong Kong. And I said, it was so sad for me to see, not sad, like it was beautiful in Hong Kong to see them waving American flags. They were holding up Trump signs. They were like, President Trump, please help us. Please save our democracy. We love you. We love America. And then I come home and BLM and Antifa are like, F America. They're burning the American flag in the streets. And they're so privileged that they had the ability to burn the flag in the streets. Meanwhile, people in Hong Kong were like, please save us. We love America. And they're waving our flag. Because we live in America and because you are so privileged, that is why you're out here and you're able to do what you're doing right now. And also the way you're able to speak out against the government. Go try to do that in North Korea and see how that ends up for you, because it's not going to end well. And so again, I feel like we've become so coddled in this country that people now are willingly giving up their rights and their freedoms to the government because they have been so coddled that they don't understand what it means to truly have your rights taken away. That's why we see so many people fighting back against socialism. You know, immigrants from Venezuela, people from Hong Kong, way more aggressively than Americans, because Americans are so spoiled that they've never really experienced anything in their life, you know, worth fighting back against. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember PJW, it's probably not his, he never claimed it was his original thought, but I remember seeing it in one of his videos, or maybe it was a meme or something like that. I think it might have been the soy mouth Wojak meme, where it's like, you know, if you're standing with Nike and like Amazon, you're not part of the resistance.
Yeah.
You know? Let's talk about the riot reporting, because you're a small bean. You're like pocket sized. And I watched a couple of your videos on your channel.
Yeah.
The one in particular, where you were interviewing this white woman who was like, totally, I'm not interested. But then she kept like answering your questions. And then she ended up like pushing you over, running you over after she short-circuited on a question that she was the one that was 17 allegations. Like, bro, you guys, like, when I was watching that, I was like, you understand that SA allegations are like political fodder now. Like, do I believe that Kavanaugh was really some sort of sex pest? Of course not. But it was like, oh, let's find this person that went to college with you and give her a GoFundMe so she can raise $500,000 and say that, you know, you were a handsy or something.
And the thing about the clip that you're referencing too, because I used to have a big group of Hispanic friends, they were all girls, and you know, I was good friends with them. And then that clip went really viral on TikTok, and it went really viral everywhere, especially with the left, because they were like, haha, this girl deserved to get pushed over. But what a lot of people don't know, the
political violence.
Yeah, yay.
Yeah.
The background of that clip is that I went into that rally not trying to provoke or, you know, be mean to people. I wasn't doing any gotcha questions. I genuinely went in as a, hey, you know, I'm still like kind of developing my own feelings on Trump. So tell me why you hate him and let me know. And then what happened with her is that she was getting mad that I was talking to other people. And then I was like, okay, well then I'll talk to you. And she's like, well, I don't want to talk to you. And I was like, okay, well then don't talk to me. But then she kept talking to me. And then she brought up, you know, the allegations against Trump. And I was like, well, can you show me on Google where they are? Because I'd like to see. And she couldn't find them. And that's why she pushed me over, because she got pissed. Because I, you know, at the end of the clip, I'm like, well, you can't seem to find these allegations and, you know, all of this corroboration for what you're saying. And then she decided to push me off a ledge.
When you're doing this riot reporting, like I've seen you, like you are very scary. Okay. Like, I mean, you're very intimidating as a human being. But when you're like interviewing these people, I think we talked about this. They see you and they're like, oh, brown girl, she's one of us, right? Exactly. So so I feel like their response to that is like even more enraging, because they feel like they got duped.
Yeah, people get more upset with me because, and sometimes I'll do this if I know that these are like white liberals who are just crazy. I'll go up to them and I'll be like, will you apologize for your skin tone? And they're like, of course. Of course. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, will you apologize for the crimes of your race, slavery, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah. And I was at a BLM, like they were just mobbing this one girl because she went to go stand up for white victims. And so I felt bad for her. And so I was like, well, I'm going to make these people look stupid then. And they found out I was conservative, and the one girl got so mad at me because she apologized for her skin tone. And I basically got on a bullhorn and I was like, that's pathetic that you are apologizing for your skin tone. And she was like, why wasn't apologizing? And I was like, girl, I have it on camera. I was like, you're about to go so viral. I can't wait. And she was like, F you, F you. And I was like, bro, you're the one out here who has white guilt. I don't know who told you to have it, but
I think we talked about this. So like we're live on my Midwestly channel where I talk about like more hard politics stuff. The quartering, I talk like more adjacent. Right. It's like a gateway but not planned in that way, because a
Right.
lot of people on the far left are like, oh, it's a gateway to evil libertarian ideas. But I tell people that, like, go to your local bar. And I'm not talking about like a bar in Dallas. I'm talking about like a pub in a small town, and or like where I live, and like it's so different than
Yeah.
these focus groups that
Mhm.
like I live in a small town, 8,000 people. And I mean, everyone here is not conservative, but
Mhm.
everyone here, like nobody in this town has been living in fear. Like when they shut down the bar, people were pissed. And
Yeah.
like, and like our local sheriff was like, we're not enforcing the lockdowns. And then the bars just reopen up because everyone just, everyone hates their job and everyone
Mhm.
wants to go blow off some steam at the end of the day. Everyone's just kind of agrees on the kind of the everyone's like in the middle, like you don't find any of these like blue haired TDS weirdos.
Yeah.
Although I have run into people like in the mega cult, but it's
Right.
it's rare. But like I talked about that Elijah show on Slightly Offensive, and I saw some people in the comments get butthurt about it. But look, if you can't acknowledge that you have extremists on your own side, and I
Yeah.
mean that in, like the modern media term, like obviously Trump fucked up a lot when he was president, and like if you can't acknowledge that there were things that he could have done better, then you're
Well, and
the
I mean,
same.
look at the fact too that you had conservatives who made their whole entire brand, their whole entire careers off of Donald Trump.
Yeah,
It wasn't about politics, it was about Donald
thousands of
Trump,
them.
and that's why
Yeah.
we're still seeing them now talk about Trump 2024, and it's like, "No, how about we look to other viable candidates? How about we look to other people outside of Donald Trump?" Like this he's not, a one man fix all type of person, like, there's more to politics outside of Trump, and so to say that there are, like, Trump extremists, like, look at the whole, like, QAnon movement too, I think that's a fair thing to
Yeah.
say, you
That was
know?
like Trump, that was like mega extremists.
Yeah, that was pretty
Um,
wild.
I think, yeah, I don't want Trump to run again in 2024.
Me
Like,
either.
I think DeSantis has a good chance, maybe. Biden's definitely a one-term president.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
but I think if I look back and I look at it like fairly,
Mhm.
Trump probably I should have known that he was only gonna be a one-term guy too. Um, because a lot of the swing votes were like never Hillary votes. And then a lot of swing votes that uh Joe Biden got were like not anybody but Trump votes. Same voter, like same number. Like Trump still got a historic number of votes. People forget that. People are like, "Oh, Trump lost." I'm like, "Bro, Trump got more votes than Obama." The idea that like the dude wasn't popular was insane. Of course he was.
Mhm.
And I miss him so much. Anyway,
Please come back. We
yeah,
miss you.
I don't want him to come back. I just wanted him to have his second term.
Yeah.
Now I don't want him to come back because he's going to be 100. He's too old, and he blew it on. And to get to our third and final topic, I wanted to talk to you about, you know, a soft spot for me is like Section 230, not in
Mhm.
particular, because like Trump really showed his ass when he was like, we need to repeal Section 230. And I was like, oh, okay. So you're not going to get anything done because you can't repeal Section 230, but you have to enforce it. So as somebody who's been banned by Twitter for the crime of reporting facts and mostly being retweeted by Trump, which is, you were a really inconvenient person to be
Yeah.
reporting.
Yeah.
Um, you know, where do you see this going like in the next 3 or 4 years? Do you think there's any hope for Section 230 reform, or do you think it's more grinding and trying to grassroots these alt tech platforms?
See, this is a very interesting question because right now, what I'm seeing every single time I get on Twitter, um, I have my ways. I see more and more conservatives getting banned by the day.
Mhm.
And we were really leaning on Donald Trump to make a social media platform. And that kind of turned out to be like a blog, if you will, where he's like putting out statements and asking other people to put them
It's
on
like a
Twitter.
fax machine.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly. And I'm just like,
it's so cringe.
I was really hoping that he was going to come out with the next Parler because Parler has been nuked. Gab is not sustainable for riot footage or live tweeting coverage of what's going on the ground.
Yep.
Um,
If Trump would have joined even Parler while he was still
yeah,
president, just
exactly.
joined it, or
But he
Gab.
wouldn't. Yeah, but he wouldn't.
But he had some moron allegedly telling him not to do it. If he had just joined it, he would have brought 20 million users, and then every single time he put out a message on that platform, it would have been millions of dollars in free advertising because people on Twitter would be losing their mind and screen capping. Oh, he
Yeah.
posted this on Gab. Oh, he posted this on Parler, and everyone would create accounts over there to TDS Berg out, and we saw without him in office. I mean, Parler. I went from 30,000 followers to when Trump was banned. The next day, I had 160,000. Which tells me that, like,
That's
holy
insane.
shit, like, Parler hit that mythical exponential growth that you need.
Yeah.
And then and it took, like, it was, like, so easy to squash them. It's like Amazon and whatever, they're like,
Exactly. They just
you're
booted them
gone.
off and they were gone. And that's my thing too. It's just like, we know that these companies hate us. We know that they want conservative silence. They know that they don't want a specific narrative getting out. And you guys are literally building your infrastructure with their tools and products. What?
Yeah.
So
It's so frustrating. If you want to get down to the nitty gritty of it, it also comes down to the fact that these same two companies, Apple and Google, control the mobile universe.
yeah.
And over the last 10 years, so a lot of people don't know this, but I have a search marketing agency. That's my day job, and I still have it. But, like, it went from, like, 10 years ago, where desktop traffic, people at a computer searching, was like 80% of traffic. It is completely flipped now in search results. Like 70 to 80% of all of my pay-per-click clicks, PPC clicks, my budget is spent on mobile phones. Okay, so let's run that into, if I want to have a Parler app or if I want to have a Gab app, Google can just say, meh, you're not allowed on the Play Store.
That's what they did to Alex. He
Yeah.
had an app and then they deleted the app. So you just can't get it anymore.
Yeah, and you're done. And then the idea that there are a lot of, like, free speech, these, like, people like, Dad, people can just download the APK. I'm like, yeah, they can, but guess what? They won't. And, like, normies, which is what we need for an alt tech platform to actually work, will never do that. They're going to go to the Google Play Store or the iTunes Store, whatever it is for iPhone, and they're going to look for it. And if it's not there, so let's leave as a positive thing. What's something good that's happened to Savannah in the last 2 weeks besides meeting me?
2 weeks. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
A lot of good things have happened. The YouTube channel is growing. Me and Elijah have been putting out a lot of really fun episodes. We got to meet at the Better Discourse panel debate in Kenosha, which was really fun.
That's a
That
good
was
time.
the first panel debate I've ever done. So it was really nice, getting all of the
You did well too.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think today, actually, I had a photo shoot. It was super fun. I'm getting my website built. I have my landing page.
You said you were close, right? What's the website?
savsaysofficial.com. I have a landing page up now. So in regards to, like, website development and, like, getting headshots done, that was super fun. And that's been positive stuff, just growing the brand and growing outside of these alternative social media platforms and kind of doing my own thing, which has been good. And so, yeah, I think that's been positive. And my streams are doing really well, so I appreciate people tuning in. I love talking politics, and I love to end my show on a positive note as well. So I'll usually find, like, one or two good stories. My last positive story that I ended my last stream on was that Jen Psaki is stepping down in a year, so we won't have to hear
Let's circle back to
exactly.
Yeah.
So that was my. I do the same thing. I love ending on a positive note.
Well, I had a blast in Texas, and we didn't really know each other in Kenosha, so we didn't talk too much. But it's really great to meet you, and I hope that my viewers will go subscribe to your channel. Look, you can subscribe; it costs you freaking nothing. Okay, if you don't like her, then unsubscribe. It's really easy. Like, it's super easy. You guys do it to me all the time, and she's out there talking about real issues, things that I'm afraid to talk about. So subscribe to Sav Says, and her link will be in the description and pinned comment down below. And I think that's, before you leave in chat, please do that. And I think that's where we'll end it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was really great being here. Thank you, Jeremy. I had so much fun talking with you.